AITA for calling the police on my husband. My husband's car does not work and he needs money to get it fixed. He does not have enough money. I am in medicine school and have been getting ready for my exams for a month now. Every month he and his friends go on a road trip. His car's been sitting in the garage for 3 months now. He asked if he could take my car to take the guys on a road trip since it was his turn to take them. I told him I need the car since I have a weak immune system and public transportation might be risky, and I cannot afford to get sick in the middle of my exams. He begged, saying his friends are gonna say he ruined the trip, and our discussion got nowhere. The trip was last week. I had an exam the day of the trip and left at 8 a.m. I had several things to do. I stopped by the coffee shop to use the internet. I arrived at the university at 8:30 and entered the hall getting ready for my exam. After I finished, I spent few minutes with my friends, then I left. I got to the parking lot and my car was not there. I started freaking out, thinking I might have left the door open or something. I called my husband but he did not pick up. My friends immediately told me to call the police. I ended up waiting for them to ask me about what happened. The officer said I needed to come to the station to give my statement. I stayed there for 4 hours, then I was told my car was found. My husband was driving it and was picked up an hour away from where we live. I was shocked and mad. It never occurred to me that he was the one who took it. I went home and waited. Today I learned he got back. He was upset and did not want to talk about what he did. The argument started after he said he made a copy of the key and did not take. Today I learned he made sure I arrived for my exam. I yelled at him and told him it was not okay. He caused me to stress out and worry about the car. He told me calling the police was drastic and should not have gotten them involved, but I had no idea he took the car. He said he wanted to text me but forgot. Said the trip was ruined and he was embarrassed by being picked up by the police while he was with friends. He still thinks calling the police was over the top reaction, but what was I supposed to do? NTA, he lied to you, so you properly assumed your car was stolen. He took it without your permission or knowledge. That is stealing. He probably lives by that. It is easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission. B.S. I know a guy who loves using that phrase. He has been both divorced and fired, not to mention hates having it used on him. My younger sister lives by this. As a matter of fact, she was the first person I ever heard say it. It is annoying as duck because she does what she wants and cluck who does not like it. Oh well, I already did it type crap. You gotta keep your guard up around those people. NTA, why is your husband doing a road trip every month when he can't even afford to get a car fixed? Because he's the kind of genius that would steal a car from their wife and act like it's everyone else's fault when his lame brain idea goes wrong. NTA, would your husband have rathered your first thought be my husband has taken the car, probably what he was counting on? What a jerk. But he did not answer the phone, so he did not answer the phone because he wanted to be far enough away by the time she knew it was him that he could justify not bringing it back. Bingo. The cops don't care about that though. NTA, if your husband does not understand just how wrong each step of what he did is, you need to seriously consider whether or not this is someone you want to spend your life attached to. He lied multiple times. He ignored your wishes. He ignored your genuine needs. He stole from you. He deliberately planned and executed everything when you were in no position to find out for several hours, and, rather than actually face up and acknowledge each of these things, he is complaining that he is embarrassed by your fully understandable response to events. He is a massive NTA, but your title is misleading. You didn't call the police on your husband. You called the police to report that your car had been stolen. The fact that your husband was the one who stole it is his fault, not yours. From the title I thought it was going to be he took it anyways from their own home and she knew it was him. And I still wouldn't have thought she was the although maybe not a police matter. There was no possible way you should have known your own spouse was going to steal from you like this. His own defense implies she should have known he was a psychopath. NTA, he asked to use your car, you said no, and then he stole it. Why shouldn't I have called the police? You asked to borrow my car and I told you no, so I knew you didn't take it. It had to have been stolen. NTA, he copied your key, and he stole your car right out of the parking lot. How were you to know the car thief was him? Meanwhile, he left you stranded in a pandemic to party with his buddies. Calling the police was appropriate. So is leaving his selfish, irresponsible ass. NTA, he stole your car and did not tell you. Your husband sounds like he only cares about himself. What was his reasoning? How did he think that would be okay? It's insane. NTA, I know Reddit always says to dump your spouse and leave him behind, but in this situation, he stole your car during your exams for a very stressful major, a very serious one as well, as failing can delay graduation for a year. He has no regard for you. He has no respect for you. I am really sorry. NTA, he knew what he was doing was wrong. He's not behind your back to make a copy of the key and then waited until you were busy with your exam to take the car without asking. Please use this when filing for divorce. It's only gonna get worse from here on out. NTA, this was 100% premeditated on his part. He made a copy of your key after you had explicitly told him your car was unavailable to him and his friends on their road trip. Stole your car while he knew you were too busy to notice right away, and neglected to let you know. He was never going to send that text. OP, your husband is now gaslighting you, trying to somehow make this your fault. You did not embarrass your husband. He absolutely did this to himself. You did what any sensible person would do when you discovered your car was gone. The only thing over the top here is his premeditated and thoroughly planned attempt to steal your car. In fact, this is so over the top that it makes me wonder if this is the first time he does something so incredibly stupid. Maybe I am just a cynic, but I find myself doubting that, because he does not seem to have any respect for you, or concern for your well-being. He was more worried about looking cool in front of his friends. OP, I am not saying you should jump on the divorce train here, but this sort of behavior, at the very least, calls for some serious marriage counseling and a good hard look on your LLS marriage. For all you knew, someone you did not know had stolen your car. That is when you call the police. NTA, and seriously consider whether you want to remain in a relationship with someone who thinks stealing your car only after you get somewhere important but are not able to get back from somewhere important is perfectly okay, but calling the cops on a stolen car is not. NTA, he was wrong. He sounds like a child who did not get what they want, so instead they snuck around their parents to get it instead. Of course, you would have called the police. He is an idiot for not thinking so. Heck, if he'd been in your position he would have done the same thing. He is only pissed that he got caught, and from how he handled all this he definitely cares more about his friends' opinions than the woman he is married to. Honestly, if I were you, I did kick him out of the house and look into getting divorced. He will likely do something like this again, or maybe even worse next time. NTA, I cannot believe your husband stole your car. The stress of that alone, of realizing your car is missing, is bad enough, but the fact he actually made a copy of the key to steal it makes it so much worse. If he does not realize how bad it is what he did, then I am surprised you still want to be with him. NTA, you didn't call them on him, you told him no, and naturally assume that the person you are married to would respect your decision on your personal property, leading you to believe it was stolen. Totally in the right. His duck up. NTA, had he remembered to text or picked up when you called and said that he took the car, I doubt you would have called the police. If my hubby took my car and did not pick up when I called, you're damn right I did call the police. I am assuming he was driving. I am also assuming they were going someplace they either don't go very often or had never been before. That implies using a GPS. Since he was driving, it's a safe bet they were using his phone for the navigation, meaning it would have been very handy, likely within arm's reach. He did not miss her call. He ignored it because he has no regard for his actions or how they affect the woman he swore partnership to. NTA, so, he took your car without telling you. Then, when it was not where you expected it to be, you actually tried to call him first and he did not pick up. Probably BC he knew you were calling about the missing car. You actually unknowingly gave him the opportunity to tell you what was going on, and his forgotten text is completely irrelevant. Of course you called the police. I mean, even if he had picked up and told you he had taken it, you may have been within your rights to call them. Dude set his own self up for embarrassment and deserves what he got. Please subscribe.